have a look then. Alright, so the first few were obviously theory questions. Exam technique is very important. So we spoke about it last week. I'm going to just mention it again. It's out of 70, right? And you've got 40 marks there in terms of multiple choice, and then you've got 30 marks there that make up the 70. So what you should maybe do is maybe allocate an hour here for that and an hour there for that. This might not even take an hour. Okay, we saw last week those were actually quite short. Here they're asking you about risk and return and share valuation, so doable. Okay, so if you want to, you can maybe even start with the long questions, up to you. But definitely spend at least an hour on this and then an hour on that.
Yeah.
You can always come back and spend more time on the multiple choice if you haven't completed all the questions. Okay, alright, first one, choose the correct option for the following questions. Al is interested in purchasing Al's, well, okay, so Liam and Logan, they're both Al. House, since Liam is a poor negotiator, she hires Levy to negotiate a purchase price. Identify the parties in this transaction. This might even have been a repeat question.
It is, but
it looks
different
very
names.
similar.
So Liam is the principal and Levy is the agent.
Yeah, so Liam is buying, okay, and obviously Liam is worried about skills, okay, in terms of negotiation. So he is going to hire Levy, okay, and that's going to be the agent, okay, where the buyer is going to transact with the seller. Okay, but Levy is going to be doing that for Logan's house. Okay, so Levy is the principal and Logan is the agent? No. Liam is the principal and Levy is the agent?
Yes.
Okay, Levy is the principal? No. Logan is the principal? No. 2. Okay, mark the ones that you have done, so at least we can have a look at, out of the ones that you've done, how did you do overall?
And then I did others in pencil as well, but I still did them.
Okay, good. Okay, this was 2018. Hey, yeah. Okay, so let's just keep tabs of the answers. Okay, question 1 we said was 2.
Yes.
Okay, more theory. Which one of the following best describes a capital market? Okay, so remember markets are used to raise capital. Capital is obviously long-term. Money market is short-term. Financial relationship created by institutions and arrangements that follow supplies and demands of short-term funds. That's out. Short-term, gone. Okay, an intangible market for the purchase and sale of securities not listed on an organized exchange. No. It could be, but then that would be unregulated.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need that level of regulation. Market that allocates funds to their most productive assets as a result of competition among wealth maximizing investors. That's possible because you're looking at the use of those funds and people competing to maximize value. So it's a consideration.
Yeah.
I wouldn't completely write that one off. A financial relationship created by institutions that allow supplies and demands of long-term funds, definitely.
True.
There's the key word.
Yep.
Long-term. Which of the following is typically the major factor in limiting the growth of a sole proprietorship? So limiting growth means we're not going to expand, okay, and move towards maybe a partnership or a company and to grow that organization. The owner will make decisions in his own best interest. Well, that's not a limiting factor because obviously they'd want it to grow even if it was their own best interest. The organization tends to become extremely complicated over time. No, I mean a sole proprietor will always be easy to manage and run. Investors have a great deal of control over the running of the organization, which leads to confusion when conflicts. No, there's no conflicts in terms of direction, okay, because there's one owner.
Yeah.
The amount of money that can be raised in the organization limited by the fact that the owner is personally liable. Yes, definitely. Good, that's theory. Okay, 4. Which one of the following statements is correct regarding profit maximization? So now they're not looking at wealth.
Yeah.
They're looking at profit as the primary goal of the firm. Profit maximization considers the firm risks level? No. Profit maximization will not lead to an increase. Will not lead to an increased short profits at the expense of expected future profits. No. Profit maximization does consider the impact on individuals' shareholders' earnings per share. Yes. Profit maximization is concerned more with maximizing profit than the share price.
No.
It actually would be that as well, because if you're maximizing profit, you're not maximizing share price, which is value. So both are good. We just need to see which is more correct.
Okay.
Profit maximization does consider the impact on individual shareholders' earnings per share. Well, does consider the impact. Okay, impact to me is looking at what would more earnings result in terms of the effect on the shareholders.
Well, if there's more earnings, there's more profit.
Yes, but
Yeah.
you would want to generate more earnings by increasing your profits.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
That's what I chose. I thought that was the most.
yeah, but to me that makes sense. But here they look at the impact. It says profit maximization does consider the impact on the individual shareholders' earnings. So if we're maximizing profit, are we going to look at the impact, meaning the effect of maximizing profit on the earnings? So to me, impact is looking at other considerations, not only this. Okay, because here they're saying, assume this is the only motive, the primary goal. So we're not going to look at anything else. So here we're looking at other things, because if it's impact on the individual shareholders, we're looking at other considerations, not just the profits.
Okay.
Here, profit maximization is concerned more with maximizing profit than the share price. If it's profit maximization, then you'd be focusing on profit, not value. Okay, so I would say 4 would be a bit better because it's only looking at profit maximization. It's not looking at anything else. Okay, but that's just my opinion. Okay, Unisa might consider 3 being more correct, but that would be my reasoning. Okay, that's looking at the effect, not only the profit maximization. Okay. Right, number 5, Q has a net profit before tax, so that's important. 30 million, and it's taxed 40% of its earnings before taxes. If the company has an interest expense of that, what is the company's times interest earned ratio? Okay, so
It's earnings before interest and taxes over interest.
have you already studied the formulas? That's good. Okay, you've written it down. Maybe let's just check them just to make sure. Let's just open up our second set of notes, and then we can look at those workings. So you already had an answer, which was 4. Let's go have a look.
But I battled with it.
Times interest earned. Where are we? Where's the times interest earned? There. Okay, yes, that's correct. Copy that. Paste the formula. So you got the right exam technique. Right, if you're reading the ratio in the question, you need to write it down. Okay, then you've obviously got EBIT less interest as a separate consideration, gives you EBT. Less tax gives you after tax. Does that make sense? Okay, profit for the year. Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so once you've read that, then you can go back and you can put all your values in. So net profit before tax. This is net profit before tax. So net profit before tax is there, 30 million. Okay. Tax rate 40% of its earnings before tax. So tax here is 40%. Okay. They say the company has interest of 6 million. So 6 million goes there. Alright, so if this is EBIT, then obviously, this is EBT, then we need to get EBIT. So I just add back the interest. Does that make sense? Okay, so if I add back the interest, I get 36 million. Okay, because I read this and I read that in the question. Okay, if I less tax, tax will be 40% of that. And then this minus that gives you the 80 million. But you don't need that. You just need earnings before interest and tax. So you only need that. Okay, earnings before interest and taxes over interest. So TIE is EBIT, which is 36 million, divided by interest, which is 6 million. Okay, because that's what the formula says, right? Okay, so 6. Option 3.
What I did, I said 30 million, and then I said 40% of 30 million.
You added the
12.
tax.
Yeah.
No, you added the tax, that's all. Okay, because this is the template. Okay, this is what accountants use for their income statement. Okay, so it's EBIT, then you take off the interest, gets EBT, take off the tax, gives you the after tax. Okay, yeah, so it's good that you're practicing, so at least we can see what the mistakes are. I mean, that's a silly mistake, but it's just something to note. So something to improve on there would be to do that. Okay, that formula I would make a note of, because that's what I need to answer the question. Okay. Happy with that one?
Yeah.
6. W has annual purchases of that. At year end, its trade and other payables were reported to be that. What is the average payment period based on 365? That's the ratio. Okay, average payment period. It's the activity ratios. There's it. Average payment period. You copy that. You write it down. Then you substitute. Okay, I don't particularly like this formula because it's a divide of a divide. Okay, so you can write it like this. APP equals trade payables divided by purchases times 365. Okay, divide of a divide is a times, so that gives you the same answer. Okay, so APP equals, what are my trade payables? Given as 13482. 13482. 13482 divided by
80.
purchases 18926. 18926 times 365 equals. Okay with this one?
Yeah.
Answer here. Days.
So
Option 3, yes. Okay, great. 7.
So it's total liabilities over total assets.
Okay, so yeah, let's read it. Okay, so formula-wise, Al has reported a debt ratio. Okay, so as soon as you see that, let's get the formula for debt. Didn't copy. Let's try that again. Okay, so that's the debt ratio. What else do they give you in the question? Total liabilities. If the company has no preference shares and the net profit for the year amounts to that, what is the company's ROA? Okay, so ROA requires another formula. There's ROA. Copy. Paste. Now we've got the two formulas.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's insert. Go back and read the question. Insert values. Debt ratio 80%, total liability 750. So 0.80 equals 750,000 divided by total assets. They didn't give that to us, eh? Yes. Divided by TA. Okay, solve for total assets. Okay, so if I solve for total assets, I'm going to get 750000 divided by 0.80. Gives me that. Okay, total assets 9375. Okay, return on assets, ROA, equals profit for the year. Was I given that? Yes, 45,000. Okay, minus a pref share dividend. Do I have a pref share dividend? No. It's 0. You can minus 0 if you want to, or you don't have to show it. Divided by the 937,500 gives you a percentage of 48%. Is it there?
48.
Oh, did I put too many zeros? Oh, sorry. 45,000, not 450,000. Too many zeros. That's my typo there. Yeah, 4.8 is right. Times 100 gives you 4.8%. Okay, so that would have been option 1. That one okay?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I'm not comfortable doing two different ratios.
Okay, you need to write down them both, and then you need to do what I did, substitute, and see where do I have more information. Okay, so more information was given for the debt ratio.
Yeah.
8. W has a return on assets, has profit for the year, and has sales, and they want the total asset turnover. Okay, so when I see that, I know that return on assets is the same as net profit margin times total asset turnover. That's DuPont. There's it. See, we spoke about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I take that and I write that down. Okay, ROA equals NPM times total asset turnover.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do I have in the question? I've got return on assets 8%. 0.08 equals. Do I have net profit margin? No, but I can get it. Okay, net profit margin times total asset turnover. Okay, NPM I can get from a formula. Okay, so I need to go back and I need to look for my net profit margin. There's it. Okay, paste. Right, so when I read the question, I write down all the formulas that I need in order to get the answer. Okay, so I wrote down ROA, I put in the ROA 8%, I don't have NPM, I don't have TAT. So I'm either going to substitute a formula in, okay, to get it, or I'm going to find the missing figure. Okay, so net profit margin, they tell us that there's a profit for the year, 21,600, and the company sales was
540,000.
yes. Okay, so there's the profit for the year and sales. Okay, so NPM equals profit for the year 21,600 divided by 540,000 gives you the net profit margin. Okay, then you can work out your total asset turnover. Right, it's all about steps. Okay, so that's the answer. Okay, no extra decimals, so let's just leave it as that. Okay, so now I can go back and I can plug in, let's use a different color, I can plug in the 0.4, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
right, so 0.08 equals 0.04 times TAT. Okay, when I'm multiplying, I divide when I take things to the left. Okay, so it'll be divide 0.04 equals TAT. Make sense?
Yeah.
Solve for TAT. Okay, 0.08 divided by 0.04 is 2. Okay, so
And then you times it by.
no, you don't times it because it's total asset turnover.
Okay.
Total asset turnover is not given as a
Okay.
as a percentage. It's given as a number of times. Okay, so it's 2 times.
Okay.
Option 2. Make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Great. Number 9. Okay, more ratios. M has current assets of that, current liabilities of that, and cost of goods sold of that. The company had inventory turnover. There's a ratio. I read a ratio, I write down the formula. That's the exam technique. Okay, this was what? Inventory turnover.
Yeah.
There's it. Copy, paste. Right, so once I've read a ratio, I just need to jot down the formula. Okay, obviously, going into the exam, you would have studied these equations, so you just jot them down. You're not going to have to go back and look and that type of thing. Okay, what would the company's quick ratio be? Right, so I'm dealing with quick ratio. Let's get the formula.
Current assets minus inventory over current liability.
Perfect, yeah, that's exactly right. So you jot it down and then you plug in values. Okay, you go back and you reread. Okay, current assets 89,602. Where do I have that? Here. So quick equals brackets 89,602. Was that right?
Yeah.
89,602. Yes. Okay, current liabilities minus inventory don't have minus INV close brackets divide by current liabilities we have 36125. Okay. Right, notice, can I solve? No, I can't. Okay, because the quick ratio, we have 2 unknowns. Unknown here, unknown there. Cannot solve. Here, we need to look at inventory turnover ratio given as 3.47. 3.47 equals cost of goods sold given in the question 77538. 77538. 77538, that's correct. Okay, divided by inventory. Right.
Okay.
1 unknown. Solve for inventory. See that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't do anything here because I got stuck. I had two unknowns.
Yeah.
I go to this one and I put in the values. Oh, I can work out something. Work out the inventory. Okay, inventory goes to the left, that number goes to the right. So 77,538 divided by 3.47 gives you, that's the inventory.
Okay.
Okay, this is going to go there. Right, so copy paste, put in your value 22345.24. Quick ratio is 1.86. Option 2. Okay. Alright, number 10. Theory here. Okay, quite a bit of theory in this one, more than the last paper we did. Okay, so a company has a current ratio of 1. What must the company do in order to improve its liquidity? Okay, even when you have these type of questions, you still need to write down the formula. Okay, so the current ratio is what? What is it? Do you remember? Current assets divided by
Current
liability. That's it. It's
Okay.
simple. It's current. Okay, so that's the formula. Right, so improve its collection practices, thereby increasing cash. Cash is an asset, it's going to go up. That's a current asset. Increasing its current and quick ratios. Okay, this is in order to improve its liquidity. Right, so the company has a current ratio of 1. What must the company do? So if it improves its collection practices, if I collect sooner my current assets in terms of debtors, what will happen to my debtors? My debtors will decrease, but my bank will increase. Do you agree? Okay, so bank goes up, debtors go down. Right, so the net effect is 0 there.
Yeah.
Make sense? Okay. Improve its collection practice and pay accounts payable. So collection practice, debtors will go down. Bank will go up. Pay its accounts payable. If I pay my accounts payable, creditors will decrease. So my current liabilities will decrease. Okay, so those two work themselves out. There's a null effect. Here the current liabilities decrease because you're paying accounts payable. So let's look at that. If I pay, so I'm just going to use any random figure. Current equals, let's just say, well, they told you it was 1. So let's just use 2 divided by 2. Okay, it gives me 1. Right, so what happens here? Those two eliminate each other out. If the current liabilities decrease, so the current liabilities decrease, current will be 2 divided by 1 then, which gives me 2.
Yeah.
2 to 1, which increases it.
Yeah.
Okay, did they say that? Decreasing the current liabilities and increasing the current and quick ratios. Yes.
That's what I thought.
That's the right one.
Yay.
Good. Okay, so that's 2. Right, the other ones we can discuss. Increase inventory. If inventory goes up, current assets go up, thereby increasing current assets and its current and quick ratios. No. The quick ratio will be affected. Okay, because you minus, because it's negative. See? It's minus. That one's out. Decrease current liabilities, then that does the opposite.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, good. That's a tricky one, hey? And you managed to get it. That's very good. Okay. Right, which of the following would best explain a situation where the return on equity of a company is higher than the industry average, while the return on assets is lower than the industry average? Okay, so here we need formulas. ROE is higher than the average, okay? So ROE and ROA. Okay, they tell us that the ROE is higher. So ROE higher than the industry, and then the ROA is lower than the industry. Okay, so the one is higher and the one is lower. Okay, so how does that affect ratios? Okay, so which of the following would best explain the situation? Right, the company's debt ratio is higher than the industry, net profit margin, total asset turnover, financial leverage. Okay, so because we're looking at ROE here and we're looking at ROA here together, it's DuPont. Okay, so we need to write down the DuPont formulas. ROE equals net profit margin
times TAT.
Total asset turnover times financial leverage multiplier, yes. Okay, and then you have ROA, which is just those two.
Yeah.
Okay, net profit margin times total asset turnover.
How will we know it's DuPont?
Because you've got both in the same question.
Okay.
ROE and ROA.
So if it's not in both in the same, then it's just the normal formula.
Yes, okay. Because you need to consider DuPont when you're given other things. Because remember, DuPont just breaks up DuPont breaks up ROE into components, into 3 components. Yeah. Okay, so now we know what the 3 components are, and we know what ROA is. So, the industry's debt ratio is higher than the average. Do you see debt ratio anywhere here? No. Okay? The company's net profit margin is higher than the average. So, net profit margin, this one, is higher. If NPM here is higher, it'll make ROE higher. If NPM here is higher, it'll make ROA higher. Yeah. So that one wouldn't be correct.
I said it's 3.
The company's total asset turnover is higher than the industry. Okay, so if the total asset turnover is higher, it'll make this higher. That's right. If the total asset turnover here is higher, it'll make this higher. So that's also out. Okay, the financial leverage multiplier is lower than the industry average. Okay, so if the FLM is lower than the industry average, that'll be lower, so it won't be higher. That one's out, and this won't be affected. So it must be number 1 then. But the debt ratio, let's just write down the formula.
But the debt ratio has nothing to do with the...
It might actually, because what is the debt ratio? Let's go see there. Total liabilities over total assets. Total liabilities over total assets.
But that's got nothing to do with total assets.
But DuPont has a financial leverage multiplier, which I think is the same thing. It's almost the same. Okay, there's the financial leverage multiplier. Financial leverage is total assets over ordinary shareholders' equity. Okay, so if I've got a higher debt ratio, what does that mean? I've got more total liabilities compared to total assets. Do you agree? Okay, so if I look at the financial leverage multiplier, which is total assets, other formula here, total assets over total equity. Total assets over total equity. Okay, do you agree? If I've got more liabilities compared to assets, then I'll have less equity to assets. Do you agree? Okay, because the formula is this. A equals O plus L. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I've got more liabilities, I'll have less equity. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you've got less equity here means smaller denominator. Smaller denominator means bigger answer. Bigger FLM. Okay, so if the FLM is bigger, this will be higher than the industry. It won't affect ROA because ROA doesn't take it into consideration. See that? So the answer is number 1.
No, it should be 2.
Okay.
3.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. This one's tough because you had to look at this as well. Okay, yeah, so debt ratio isn't part of it. The other options didn't work.
That's why
I had to go back and I had to redo.
I wouldn't have thought debt ratio. I knew that total asset turnover.
Trick question.
Okay.
Right, they might even repeat it. You never know. Sometimes you just lazy.
Will. That's why I study a lot of the past papers, multiple choice.
Yes.
And know the answers on behalf.
Theory-wise is good. But calculations can always be different. But it depends.
Okay, but I'm a parent learner, so I'll obviously read the questions
and recognize it. Okay. Right. H, financial statements show the company has that profit after tax. Ordinary shares 10,000. Company has a market price of that. What is the price earnings ratio? Okay, there is the answer. PE. Get the formula for PE. And we need 2 equations because price earnings is divided by EPS. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so formula number 1 given. EPS, we need it as well. There's EPS. Copy, paste. Okay, now we've got both. Now we can work it out. Okay, so what did they say in the question? They said that the company has profit after tax. Do you see profit after tax here? Yes. EPS equals, what is it?
27,809.
Let's just put that in.
27,894.
894. 27,894. Ordinary shares, 10,000.
10,000.
Okay, so do we have a preference share dividend? No, we don't. Okay, so no pref share dividend, so you can put a minus 0 here if you want to. Divided by 10,000, right? Okay, equals. That's a nice, simple, easy working. Okay, that gives you your EPS. Then you go to your PE, P over E equals market price. Did they give that? Yes. R8.75. Okay, divided by EPS, which is what we just worked out. Do you agree? 2.7894. Make sense? 3.13.
I've got 3.14.
1.4 if you round it off. Well done. Good. Number 4.
Yay.
Okay. 13. Okay, Al has preference share dividends. So now we've got pref share dividends. You've got profit after tax. The company has sales of that. What is the company's net profit margin? Okay, so all you need is the formula for profit margin.
Profit for the year minus preference shares over sales.
Yes, okay, good. Margin always means divide by sales, so you just need the numerator. Okay, NPM equals, open brackets, I have a dividend here, so I'm going to have to do a working. Profit after tax, 250,000. Preference share dividends, 182. Divided by sales, 3.6 million. Equals.
It is option 1.
Let's check. Times 100 is 1.8%. 89, yes, good. Nice. Another one correct. Number 14. Okay, how much would you pay today for a perpetuity of that paid annually that can be transferred to your future grandchildren if the applicable interest rate? So a perpetuity means a never-ending payment. The formula for a perpetuity is PV equals payment divided by the I, the rate. Okay, there's no growth here, so it's just R, no G. Okay, so PV equals, what is the payment? How much would you pay today for a perpetuity of 125? That's the payment. Divided by, the rate is 5%, 0.05. Right, you type that into your calculator. Didn't paste. Let's try it again. Curl V. There. 2.5 million. 4.
Okay. No, I worked out very differently.
Okay, be careful. It's a perpetuity. A perpetuity means a never-ending payment.
But I was trying to look for the...
There's no growth.
No, I was trying to look what that meant, and then I couldn't find
Okay,
it.
perpetuity means never-ending payment. Okay. Happy with that one?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, 15. We're probably looking at TVM now. Yes. Okay, so these are all your time value of money calculations that you just type into the calculator. Right, A plans on saving that every year, so that's the PMT. Okay, and expects to earn an annual interest rate of 10%, that's the I. And she'll have, what will she have in her account? That's the N, that's easy. Okay, so payment, I and N. Let's just write those down so you have it. What is the payment?
3097.
The rate?
10%, years 35.
Okay, alright, solve for, we need to read, plans to save. How much will she have in account at the end? So future value, yes. Okay, so solve for FV, and the future value is the rate, the N, the payment, 3097. Okay, did you get that?
Got it.
839.
That's option 3.
Option 3. Good.
I'm good with these questions.
Nice. And then you'll
Do well.
do well because time value of money Always comes up. Okay,
Yes,
S deposits 2,000 in an account today. That's PV.
Yeah.
That pays 5%. That's I. How much will you have in 4 years' time?
Okay,
That's
so we have
N.
to look for the FE.
Okay, yes. So again, just to put notes, PV how much?
PV is 2,000.
I
is 5% and N is 4 years.
Okay, great. Solve for FE. Right, so FE equals the rate here 5%, the N here 4 years, no payments, PV 2,000. Answer 2431.
That's option 4, got it.
Option 4. Correct. Nice. This is where you bank marks.
Yeah.
Because it's calculator work. Okay, A has been offered an investment that will earn 12% annually. That's I. She invests 15 PV. How long will it take her, so that's working on N, to have a total of 25?
So
that's the
FE.
FE. Okay, good. So 15, 25, 12. Right, PV 15, FE 25,
and 12 is interest.
12%. Solve for N. Okay, so N is the rate 12%. Okay, no payment. The present value, remember to use a negative because the calculator gets confused. 25,000 gives you 4.5
It's option 3 and I got that right.
4.5 years.
It's option. No, it's number 17. It's 4.51.
Yes, which is option 3.
Yeah,
Good.
got that right.
Okay, 18. Right, what is the effective interest rate earned? So that's I. They want I.
Yeah.
If the nominal rate is, okay, so this is nominal, and it's compounded at the end of each quarter. Okay, this is a, this is a formula that you need to consider in terms of the nominal versus the effective. Okay, so they tell you what is the effective interest rate earned on the investment if the nominal rate is 8% per annum, and the interest is calculated at the end of each quarter. Okay, so 18% is your nominal. So
Yeah.
I4 is 18% divided by 4. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm.
So 18 divided by 4 is 4.5% per quarter.
Got it.
Good, that's number 2. Number 19. What is the present value of the following stream of cash flows received at the end of each of the next 3 years, assuming that you can earn 11% on the investment? That's a cash flow.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's cash function.
cash flow, year 0, what do you put?
Year 1
0.
is 3.
Year 1,
Is 3.
3,000.
2 is 6. Then 3 is 9.
like that, eh?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
year
Y2,
And then
Y3.
Yeah.
Okay, I is,
I is 11%,
11%.
and the NPV would give you.
okay,
option.
can you redo that on your calculator just to
Yeah,
see?
sure.
So I can check the answer, and then we can just put in the right one. Okay,
So that is
NPM equals,
11%.
yeah, just as practice. Okay, let's write down that figure, and I'll just go check it.
Sure.
14153.155973.
That's what it
Okay, if we escape, you've got I of 11, and then your cash, you've got 0369. Perfect.
is. Option 1.
Okay, yes. That's the right answer. That's the right option.
Yay.
Okay, it's looking good, eh? Okay, 20.
I hope they give the whole paper just of TV.
Well, it'll be a big section
Yeah.
in the paper. It won't be the whole thing, but you will get quite a bit.
I thought the last paper had more of these questions.
Okay.
Than this one, yeah.
Good. So, if they give you more, it's a benefit.
It
Yeah.
is a benefit for me, yeah.
Okay. T purchased a property for that, and the company paid a down payment of 15%. Okay, so that's obviously your PV. Then you'd have to subtract the
Yeah.
deposit.
You have to.
Okay, financing the balance. The loan requires monthly payments for 15 years. Okay, be careful. N is in months. Okay, the interest rate is monthly, so I12. What is the loan payment? Let's work out PV.
So the
PMT.
So
Okay, so PV equals
It's
279
000 times
minus
15%.
brackets 279 000
times
times
15%.
15%.
And the
Close
answer
brackets
is 2371500.
equals. Let's check. Okay, 279 1234 times 0.85 237150. Good. Okay, that's the present value. I12 equals 15%. No, 8% compounded
divided by
monthly.
12.
8% divided by 12. Okay. What else? Payments
15
in 15 years.
So it's 15 times 12.
15 times 12 is correct. For
And
this
then you
number
need
of
the
years,
future
15
value.
times 12 is 180 months. Not future value. PMT.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Well,
Okay,
that's the mark
because
already.
you're looking for the loan
Yeah.
payment. Okay, so the loan payment is the PMT. Right, so solve for PMT.
It's option 1.
Okay, the rate, let's work out the rate in brackets, 0.08 divided by 12, close brackets. The N, 180. The PV,
Is
negative. Let's keep it positive.
2371500.
2371500, close brackets gives you that.
Yep.
2266.
Option 1.
3.29. One is correct. Good.
Okay, the 21 I had a bit of a problem with.
Okay, let's check. There could be problems in the question, eh? Okay, sometimes there is errata. Okay, so B borrowed that this morning to buy a house at a rate of 9%. So that's PV. 9% I. The loan is to be repaid in equal monthly payments. So that's N, but in months. The first payment is due 1 month from today, which is just normal. How much of the second payment will be applied to the principal? Okay, this is
draw
amort.
timeline.
No, you don't have to.
Okay,
Okay,
that's
it's
what I thought you were
amortization. It's amortization
Okay.
here. So you need to first work out the payment. Okay, so we need to, with amortization, this is that amortization question.
Okay, I didn't know.
Okay, so step number 1, get the payment. Right, what is the PV here? 180,000. Okay, what is the N here? The N here was equal monthly payments over 20 years. So 20 times 12, which is 240 months.
The I?
The I is 9% per, so it's I12 is 9% divided by 12. Okay, solve for PMT. Right, so let's first get that. PMT is going to be a rate of 0.09 divided by 12, close brackets. The number of months, 240. Okay, the present value, 180,000, close brackets equals. Right, there's the payment. Okay, this is amortization. So I'm going to show the table. Balance, interest, payment, balance outstanding. Just to show you what I'm doing here. Okay, obviously this is months, so that's the time. Month 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're only looking at month 1 and 2, right?
Yeah.
Second payment, so we're looking at month 2. We're looking at that. Okay, so the balance here is 180,000. Okay, the interest is
9.
this times 0.09 divided by 12 because it's per month.
Yeah.
Okay, the payment is that. But let's make it a positive, otherwise it's going to make a mess of the formula. Minus, okay? So the balance outstanding would be the balance at the beginning plus interest minus the payment.
Okay.
Okay, gives us that. Then you have that there. Okay, then you copy paste the rest. Okay, so what do they want? How much of the second payment will be applied to the principal? Okay, so the second payment, the payment stays the same. That doesn't change. Okay, so that's the payment, that's the interest. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Right, so the difference is the principal.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Okay, because the payment pays off a part of the loan and it pays off the interest. So principal, but you have to do it manually. I'll show you how to do it. 1619.51 less 1347.98 if I round off. Okay, copy paste. Gets that. Okay, this you can get from the calculator. Okay, what do? You press amort.
Okay, I've got amort.
Okay. You press, what payment do you want to see? PM1.
2.
Yeah, PM1 and PM2. Both are PM1 and PM2 you need to set as 2 because you look at the second payment.
So how do we do that?
Just put a 2. 2, EXE, 2, EXE. Okay, then scroll down and solve for principal, PRN. Okay, so keep going down. Down, 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 down. Principal,
That one.
PRN, solve. There's the answer.
0.
Oh, did you clear the calculator?
Yes.
You're not supposed to.
Oh.
Because you need this in the memory.
Oh, so you needed the...
Okay, so redo this.
That's fine.
Do that again.
So the N is...
240.
240. The
PV
I is 9.
9 divided by 12.
Divided by 12.
PV 180,000. Solve for the PMT.
Oh, the PMT. Solve. I've got everything there.
Future value, no future value, eh?
No, there's nothing.
Solve for PMT? Not working, let's check. Oh, you're in the wrong setting. You're in amort.
Was I supposed to be in the CM?
Redo. Yeah, redo.
Okay, that's what confused
Okay,
me. So I'm supposed to be in that
you
one.
first do this. Compound interest.
Okay.
First work this out. Get that answer. Okay, start
so
again.
So the year is 240. The I is 9 divided by 12. The PV is 180. The PMT we need to solve. So that is minus 16. So how do we save that?
Okay, so you don't save it. Now you've got the answer. Now you just press amort. And then put 2, 2.
2, 2.
And then scroll down and reduce principal.
Okay. That makes sense.
So make a note about those steps, if you need to. But that's how you get the answer. You don't have to do a table. I did, but you obviously just need to do the calculator. What is it? 2, eh?
2.
Yes. Okay, 22. Right. P court settlement. That's the award. Okay. He invested it at 8% compounded semi-annual. That's I2.
Yeah.
Okay. What payment could it provide at the beginning? There, begin mode.
Yeah, put that in.
Each half year for a period of 6 years. So they basically solve for the PMT. Okay, and the N is 6 times 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's put that in. N equals 12 half years. I2 equals 8% divided by 2. Okay, the PV is 950,000. Solve for PMT using begin mode though. Let me put a note at the beginning here. Begin mode. Okay, have to put begin mode. Right, so PMT equals, okay, the rate here 0.4. The N 12. The PV 950123. Okay, then I think I need to change the type. No future value. Let's begin mode. Type I think is 0. Let's just try that one. Did you get that answer?
No, I got
Okay, then I think the type must be 1, not 0. There.
Yeah.
Okay, but just check it on your calculator because I'm not too sure if Excel does it the right way around. Just clear everything.
That's the only issue about this whole thing.
Okay, begin mode.
Okay.
Go compound interest. Change it to begin mode.
Okay.
Is it begin?
It's 1. Okay.
Okay, it's
N
begin.
is?
N is 12.
12. I is
8
8.
divided by 2.
12.
No, divided by 2. Half yearly.
Divided by 2. I?
No, that is the I. 8 divided by 2.
The PV.
PV 950 950,000. Solve for payments. Is it right? No, your I is not right. 0.66 isn't right. 8 divided by 2.
8 divided by 2. Oh,
okay, go solve for PMT again.
Let me just redo this whole thing. Okay, clear.
Yeah, this the amount on right.
So that is going to be 1. Then the N is?
N is 6 years times 2, 12.
Times 2. Then I is?
8 divided by 2. PV 950,000.
1, 2, 3.
Solve for PMT.
Yeah, there we go.
What is it? 97?
Yeah.
That's right. Okay,
That's
so
right.
that is the red. Okay, so begin mode is option is 1 in Excel. Just remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's using begin mode. Okay, what option is that?
It's option 3.
Option 3.
Yay.
Okay.
And then I had an issue with the whole beta thing. I know the formula, but then I was...
Okay, is this it? No, not yet. Okay, 23. Rebecca is buying a car. Bank charges her interest of 80% per annum compounded monthly. That's I-12. Okay, it's over a 4-year period. So 4 year, that's in, but it's in months. So it's 48 months.
Yeah.
She can afford monthly installments of 2,000. That's the PMT. At the end of each month, so normal in mode. And she has a deposit of that. Okay, the deposit is separate. What is the maximum price she can pay for the car? Okay, so let's put that in. Right, so the first thing in 4 times 12, 48 months. I-12 is 18% divided by 12. The payments were 2,000. PMT 2,000. Solve for PV. Okay, so PV open brackets. The rate is brackets 0.18 divided by 12 close brackets. My N here was 48. My PMT here was 2,000. Close bracket solve 68065. Okay, but that's the loan.
Oh.
Then you need to add the deposit because she can place a deposit down on the car. Okay, so what is her deposit? 20,000.
So it is option.
So she can buy a car that's worth 80,000, 88,000.
Yeah.
Maximum price. Okay, because she has 20,000 to put down as a deposit. Okay, so 3.
Okay.
24. Okay, your investment has only 2 shares in the portfolio, 900 invested in A share with a beta of that, and 2,000 invested with a beta of that. What is the portfolio beta? Okay, when you see that, you need to weight it. Okay, so A here, B there. Okay, you need to look at the amount, okay, the funds, and the beta. Okay, so how much funds invested in A? 900 with a beta of 0.8. 2,100 invested with a beta of 1.4. Right, so now the total funds would obviously be 3,000, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we need to get the beta for the portfolio, which is the weighting. Okay, so portfolio beta is going to be brackets 0.8 times 900 divided by 3,000. Close brackets plus. Then we've got 1.4 times 2100 divided by 3,000. It's a weighting. Right, gives us an answer. Okay, 1.22, option 2. Okay, so that's a weighting. Right, if you didn't know how to do that one, just make a note. It's just a weighting. There's no formula for beta. Well, there is, but we don't have to use it. Okay, 25. Assume that the required return on equity is that. So this is cap M when I see this. They're asking for risk-free return. Okay, so required return equals risk-free plus beta times brackets KM, the market, less the risk-free. Okay, close brackets. Right, so assume the required return is 10.4%. 10.4% equals the risk-free is what we don't know. Okay, plus the beta is 0.8. and the return on the broad market is 12%, so 0.8 and 12. So 0.8 brackets 12 minus risk-free, close brackets. Got that? Okay, so let's do some maths. 10.4 equals RF plus, can you type this in on your calculator? What is 0.8 times 12?
It is 9.6.
9.6, great. Minus 0.8 RF. Okay, next line. Take the 9.6 across, so 10.4 minus 9.6 gives you
0.8.
Okay, 0.8 equals 1 RF minus 0.8 RF. Okay, so the next line would be that, which is 0.2. Okay, 1 minus 0.8 is 0.2 RF.
Then you have to divide
And then you
it.
solve for RF,
Divided by.
which is divide, yeah. So it's 0.8 divided by 0.2, which is 4%. Option 2, good. Okay, so that was just some maths after having done the capping calculation. Okay, based on the following information for an asset, what is the expected return? Okay, so expected return, just multiply and add up.
Yeah.
Right, so expected return. Okay, the return here, minus 0.18, 0.19, probability, 30 and 70. Okay, remember you have to use decimals. Expected return calculation column. Okay, you take this and you multiply it by that.
It's negative 0.024.
Good, and then you sum up
It is
10.9%.
10.9.
Good,
Yep, got
option
it.
2. Well done. Okay, 27. Okay, G Limited has bonds on the market with 11 years to maturity, that's N. The yield to maturity of 8, that's I. And a current price of that, which is PV. The bonds make semi-annual coupon payments, so now everything needs to be times by 2. Semi-annual is important. What must the coupon rate on the bonds be? So we'll work out PMT. Alright, so let's solve. Okay, the face value. What would the face value be here? They didn't mention it, but
No, 0.
no, it will be 1,000. Okay, because the current price is 945.
Okay, I didn't. That's what
Okay,
I confused.
yeah,
Okay.
so we need something else. Okay, so that would be 1,000 would be your future value.
Okay.
Okay, so otherwise you can't work it out.
That's why I had difficulties.
Okay, so minus 945 FE 1,000 face value. Okay, 11 years to maturity. 11 times 2, 22 half years. Okay, yield to maturity 8%. I2, 8% divided by 2, which is 4% per half year. Okay, solve for PMT. Right, PMT equals, what is my ratio? Brackets, 0.08, hello? 0.8 divided by 2, close brackets. N is 22, PV negative 945, FE 1000, close brackets, solve. 36 Rand 19, but this is for the payment. Okay, so now we know that the coupon rate, or the coupon, equals the coupon rate times the face value. Right, so the coupon is, but it's half yearly, so divide by 2. Okay, so the coupon here is 36.19 equals a rate, which we don't know, times 1,000 divided by 2. Okay, solve for rates. Okay, so if I solve for the rate, I'm going to take that across. 1,000 divided by 2 is 500. If I take the 500 across, it becomes divide. You agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 36.19 divided by 500 gives you that. Times 100 equals a percentage. Okay, times 100 is 7.23.
So it's
7
actually
option 2, yes. Okay, so quite a long one.
So I didn't know that it had to be 1,000. That's why
Yes.
it caused me not to be
Yeah,
able.
because they didn't give that to you. They should have actually given it to you,
Yeah.
but they didn't. Okay. 28. B's bonds have a coupon rate of that. Okay, so that's the PMT, which you can work out. That's the FV. Bonds have a 12-year maturity, so N, and makes quarterly payment. That's very important. The yield to maturity in these bonds is 6%, which is divided by 4. What is the current bond price? Okay, that's solved for PV. Okay, so let's put in the values. Payment, 10% coupon, times face value of 1,000 divided by 4, because it's quarterly. Okay, let's work that out. 1,000 times 10% divided by 4 is 25. Okay, N is 12 years. N is 12 times 4, which is 48 quarters. Okay, yield to maturity, 6%. So I4 is 6% divided by 4, which is 1.5, I think, eh? What's 6 divided by 4? Yes. Okay, what else do we need? Future value. 1,000. There we go. Got everything. Solve for PV. Alright. PV, open brackets. The rate, 0.015. The N, 48 quarters. The PMT, 25. The future value, 1,000. Did you get that? 1340.
No, I got option 3.
Ooh, careful. Something went wrong.
Yeah.
Option 1. What amount did you put in? Where are your...
I didn't. I had them on a piece of paper at work.
Okay, that's
so that
fine.
was my own doing.
Alright, 29.
But I will read this
It
whole paper.
would have been nice just to see what
Yeah.
you didn't put in right. Because everything's fine. I think
Exactly.
just the last step with the working. Okay, but don't stress. It'll get better. This is only paper number 2, and
Yeah.
you're already getting a lot of it right. Okay, when a financial manager is faced with an inverted yield curve, then just draw it. There's inverted. What will they more likely rely on? Cheaper short term? No. Cheaper long term?
Yes.
More expensive long term?
No.
No. More expensive long term? Short term? Sorry.
No.
More expensive short term? Yes, but they're not going to rely on
Yeah.
short term expensive financing.
It's
Right, so
option
option 2 is correct, yes. It's always the lowest cost of raising capital. Okay, great. Okay, more time value of money. R Limited is selling 12 years, that's N, 0 coupon, so PMT is 0. Par value, that's FV, at a yield of 9%, that's I. How much will you have to pay for the bond? Solve for PV, that's it. Okay, simple one. Okay, so, I can't see that now.
2 years.
Is it 2?
12 years.
12.
Sorry.
Okay, it's 12 years. Okay, so N equals 12 years.
FV is 1,000.
Okay, and the I was
I is 9%.
9%. So was this yearly, eh?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't actually
Yeah.
matter because it's a 0 coupon bond. Okay, solve for PMT, PV,
PV, yeah.
no coupon. Okay, so PV open brackets, the rate 9%. Okay, the N 12, the payment 0, FE 1,000. Okay, did you get that?
Yes.
355 option 2. Okay, it's looking good, eh? You're getting a lot of
Yeah.
these right. That's very good. Considering this is only the second paper, that's very good. So just keep doing what you're doing. It's working. Okay, E wants to buy a bond with a par value, FE. Payable in 8 years' time, N. The bond pays 12% coupons, PMT. The bond is currently selling for that, PV. What is the yield? Solve for the I. Okay, you've got everything
Yes.
else. Right, let's just show that. FE is 10,000. N is 8 years, but this was semi-annual, hey?
Times 2.
Yes, so 8 years times 2, 16 half years. Okay, what else do you have here? Coupon, PMT equals, coupon year 12%. 12% times the face value of 10,000 divided by 2 equals, let's work that out quick. Okay, 0.12 times 10,000 divided by 2, 600 is correct. PV was given. PV must be a negative, so minus 8,000. Because the calculator will get
Yeah.
confused.
And then
Solve
FE
for
was
I.
10,000.
Okay, so the rate is, let's work it out. The N here, 16. The payment, 600. The PV, minus 8,000. The FE, 10,000. Close brackets, answer, 8%.
8.30.
Ooh. Let's rounding it off. Let's put more decimals. Yes. Okay,
Option
8.3, option 1. Nice. Okay. 32. Okay, Al has just found a 10% coupon bond. That's PMT. On the market that sells for that, that's PV. The par value is that. That's FE. Makes monthly annual payments. That's important. Okay, that's 12 a year, hey?
Yeah.
Current market interest rate on the bond is I6, well not I6, I is 6%, which is I12. What is the maturity? Solve for N. Okay, make sense? Okay, let's put that in. Alright, so payment, 10% of, what is the face value? 15,000 divided by 12. Okay, so the payments times 15,000 divided by 12. Okay, 125. Market sells PV 10 200. What else? The rate 6%. I12 6% divided by 12. What else? FE 15,000. Okay, solve for the N. Okay, so N is the rate. The ratio was brackets 0.6 divided by 12. Ooh, 0.06 divided by 12. Close brackets. Okay, the payment was 125. The present value was negative 10 200.
Yeah.
And the future value was positive 15,000. Okay, I get that.
Yep. Got it as well.
Okay.
Option 3.
No. This is in days. Be careful. Alright, that would be months. Okay, so if that is in months, then we need to multiply that by
365.
no. This was, let's just reread it again. 10% coupon, market sells for that. Par value that makes monthly annual payments. If it's monthly, it's divided by 12, which is, that's right. So the N which we get here is in months, which is correct. Okay,
Maybe they just made a topper.
possibly I think, eh?
Because I
Yeah.
got that on.
If the
right?
current market rate is 6%, which is 6 divided by 12, which is correct, yeah. So you get that, which is months. It shouldn't be days. I think this is the typo.
It is.
Okay.
I got option 3 as well.
Yes, okay, so that's definitely a problem. Let's go with 3, but it's months, not days, because
Yeah.
this was a monthly bond. Okay, but the amount is correct. Okay, theory, and upward sloping yield curves. Okay, so upward sloping like that. Interest rates are expected to decline? No. Interest rates are expected to
2.
increase? Yes. Interest rates are expected to remain stable? No. Interest rates are expected to decline, then increase? Decline, then increase? No.
No. It's
Okay,
2.
2.
Yay.
Okay, you want to own an asset that has a total return of that. Inflation is that, and the risk. Okay, what is the real rate? Okay, so real equals nominal minus inflation. Okay, so you want to own an asset that had a total return. That's nominal. If the inflation premium rate last year was that, and a risk premium of 3.6, yeah. So because they've given you the 2. They've given you the inflation premium rate was 4, and they've given you a risk premium of that. If it's a real rate, I would subtract both actually. Okay, because they've given you 2. So I would subtract 15% less 4 less 3.6. Okay, so 15 minus 4 minus 3.6 gives you 7.4, option 1.
Okay.
Yeah, but they haven't given you any of this in the textbook, which is bad.
Yeah.
But they're testing something a little bit beyond the scope. Okay. Right, theory again. What happens when the expected cash flows of a bond discounted at a rate lower than the coupon rate of the bond? That's theory. Okay, if the discount rate is lower than the coupon, so the coupon is greater than the yield to maturity, it's a premium bond. Okay, that's theory. Right, so the bond will be sold at a premium, definitely.
Okay.
Did you not get that?
No, I got option 2.
Okay, let's just check it though, just to make 100% sure. Let me just think, chapter-wise, this would have been chapter 5. That one. Bonds. Hope this one's bonds. Is it? Yes. It's the right chapter. So, where's my table? I'm looking for my table. There's my table. Okay, premium bond, coupon rate more than the discount is right.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so number 1. Okay, we're almost finished the multiple choice. How are we doing with time? Just to see if we're keeping to the hour. Yeah, almost, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to try keep to the hour in the exam. Okay, this might take you a bit longer, but then you need to give the long questions a chance.
Yeah.
Okay, you can't not do the long questions as well. 30 is a lot, and long questions aren't too bad generally. Okay, B, ordinary shares sell for that. That's PV. Has a market return of that. That's your R. The company has trust paid. That's important. Trust paid, dividend, 0. What is the Gordon growth rate? Okay, the dividend growth. So that's the formula we need to work out. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, but this is dividend 0. I can't use dividend 0. I need to use dividend 1. Okay, let's write down the formula. PV equals div 1 divided by brackets R minus G, close brackets. Let's substitute. 45 is the PV equals. Dividend 1 will be a working. It'll be dividend 0 times 1 plus growth. Okay, so dividend here is 5 rand. So it'll be brackets 5 times brackets 1 plus G. Close brackets. Okay, close that bracket. Divide that by open a bracket. Okay, the return is 12%. 0.12 minus G, close brackets. Okay, then it's just maths. Okay, so take this across, it becomes multiply. Right, so that'll be times that. Okay, 45 times 0.12 gives me 5.4. So 5.4 plus, no, minus 45G. Okay, equals 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times G is 5G. Okay, take the G's to the one side, take that to the other side. So 5.4 minus 5 equals 5G plus 45G. Okay, so 5.4 minus 5 is 0.4. Bless you. Equals 5 plus 45 is 50G.
You divide then.
Yes, solve for G. Right, so if I solve for G, it'll be 0.4 divided by 50, which is 0.008, which I times by 100, gives me a percentage.
It's going to be option 1.
Okay, percent. Okay, so the growth is 0.81. Option 1. Okay, good. Okay, so it's just more maths than anything there, but just remember to use the right formula. Okay, the last 3. Liquid pays that per dividend next year. Next year, we can write this down as div 1. The company pledges to increase its dividend by 5% per year indefinitely. That's G. That's the growth. If you require a return of 14%, that's the R. How much would you pay for the company share today? That's normal Gordon growth. There's the formula. Okay, PV equals div 1. What is it? 3.65. Divide by, open brackets. What is my R? 14%. Less growth of 5%, close brackets equals. Type that into your calculator. Calculator gives you an answer of 40.55, 40.56, option 1. Okay, I like this paper, no mistakes.
Yeah, except for the days and months,
Yeah, besides the that's the typo. Okay, but no issues
Yeah.
with the workings, yeah. Okay, T has preference shares paying a dividend of that. These are pref shares. Pref shares always pay out a dividend. So a pref share would be similar to a perpetuity. It's the dividend divided by the rates. That's all. Okay, so the present value here is 60 Rand per share. So it's 60 equals, what is the shares required return? The dividend is 8 Rand. Okay, so it's 8 divided by the rates. Solve for R. Right, to take R to the left, R would equal 8 divided by 60. Okay, so R equals...
Can't you say 60 divided by 8, or would that not work out?
No, because the R goes that side.
Okay.
It'll be 8 divided by 60.
Okay.
See, the R goes to the
Okay,
left,
yeah.
60 goes to the right. 8 divided by 60, 13.3%. Option 2. Okay, 39. B currently paid a dividend. Currently or recently paid? Sorry, recently paid means div 0. It is expected the company will pay a dividend of 6 Rand next year, 7 Rand the year after. Okay, that's a timeline. The company's dividend is expected to remain stable 7 Rand thereafter, and required return is 8%. Okay, so we need to draw a picture. Right, so year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. Okay, currently paid, which would be in year 0 actually. Okay, so recently paid a dividend of 5 Rand. That
Yeah.
dividend is 5. Let's just centerize this so it looks better. Okay, year 1's dividend, 6 Rand,
7.
then 7
And the company's dividend
will
is
remain
stable,
7
yeah.
forever. So 7, 7, 7. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so all of those are 7s. So that would be the dividend that's the same.
Yeah.
Okay, so PV equals div 1 divided by R minus G. Okay, so PV here equals, that'll be 7 divided by open brackets. There's no growth here, so the rate is just 8%. Okay, minus 0 is 0. Okay, so PV here equals 7 divided by 0.08 is 8.75. Okay,
Then
where
you
is
add
that
that.
sitting? It's sitting at? It's sitting at
Year 1.
year 1, because that's at year 2. So that would have been kind of like your inverted commas T1. And this would have been your T0, kind of.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Okay, so we're just going to discount. So year 0, year 1, that's it. Year 0 is 0, year 1 would be 6 plus 87 Rand 50, and then you're going to put an I of 8%, and then solve for NPV. Quickly work that out.
So it's the cash function. So it's 8%.
Okay, you should get that answer, I think. 86.57, it is there, option 1.
flippin'.
Okay, let's see what you get.
86.57.
Good, nice. Okay, so with those, draw a timeline. Okay, especially when you have dividends that are being discussed. Okay, the last question here. Al pays an annual dividend and is expected to increase by 5% per year. That's growth. Annual dividend, which we don't know. The market requires a return of that. That's R, and it sells for that's PV. Solve for the dividend. What is the next dividend? So you're solving for div 1. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so there's the formula. There's the formula actually, because we need the growth as well. Okay, so the present value we have, 5395 equals div 1, we're working it out, divided by, open brackets, what is the rate here? 10%, and the growth, 5.5. 0.10 minus 0.055, close brackets. Okay, let's work that out. 53.95 equals div 1 divided by, can you just work that out quickly? What is 0.10 minus 0.01? I think it's 45.
0.045.
Okay, great. Okay, then solve for D1.
So you're going to say 53.
Take it to across
yeah.
time. So it'll be 53.95 times 0.045 is that. That's the dividend. 2 Rand 42. Well, round it off, 43. 1. Okay, I'm very happy with this past paper. No problems, no issues, nothing, no errata. Okay, whoever said last year's papers did a good job. Okay. Alright, long questions. Written questions. Section B. Let's see what we need to work out here.
It's that whole table.
Is it the table? Okay, good. So it's practice. Yes, it's the table.
I even printed out.
Calculate the expected return of a portfolio consisting of. Oh, be careful though.
That's what.
There's the
confused
weighting.
me.
Yeah. So we need to use the weighting when doing the CAPM. Okay. And then they said calculate the standard deviation. Okay, then that's the table. Right. So the first step is looking at the. We had a note in your notes about it. Let me close some of this. Bonds, get rid of that. Ratios, get rid of that. Okay, we need to go to the risk one. The risk one was number 4. Where's my unit 4 stuff? There. Okay. Alright, so let's go back to what we spoke about previously when there's a weighting. There's it. Okay, there we go. Alright, so when you have a weighting, you need to weight the 2 first to get the portfolio return. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, but which one are we looking at? Calculate the expected return of a portfolio.
Fountains.
Okay, so we've got probability of the states. Okay, these two, hey? Village suits.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a different one. Let's read it actually. Based on the research of the economy and hotels, okay, anticipate the following. Okay, possible returns, fine. Right, okay, yeah, fountains, which is that one, and copper leaf, which is that one. So those are the two. Right, so we need to write that down and that down first. Okay, so let's do that. Oh, sorry. Go to that one. Okay, so fountains. We need the probability as well. Then we have everything here. And copper. Okay, so those are the two. We need to, let's put in probability, 0.25, 0.6, 0.15. Okay, fountains. Fountains was 2, 10, 16. Okay, copper was 32, 12, 11.
-11.
Oh, wrong button. Negative, yeah. Negative 0.11. Got that. Okay, that's what we've got. Right, so when we do a question like this, we first need to weight it, and then we get the portfolio return. So it's your asset and the weighting. Right, so how much of fountain do we use? 75% fountain, 25% copper. Okay, so the weighting will be equals, open brackets, it'll be this, times 0.75, close brackets, plus, open brackets, that, times 0.25, close brackets. See, it's a weighting of this plus a weighting of that. Okay, and you do that for all. Right, that's the portfolio. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
That's the first step. Right, then you need to sum up. And I get that. Okay, so go back to the notes. Let's just take the next step. Okay, expected value is the total portfolio returns, which I've added, divided by the number of events. How many events do I have here?
3.
3. So the expected return is going to be the 0.2925 divided by 3. Okay, there's the expected return. Now you've got it. Okay, so the answer to the first one, calculate the expected return for the portfolio, 4 marks. There's the answer. Obviously times by 100 to get a percentage. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so the expected return for this is that. Okay, then we need our table. Okay, so the next part of the question says calculate the standard deviation for each possible for each possible investment.
Yeah.
So
it's all three.
it's
That-
three tables.
that's in here.
Yes, it's three tables.
Yeah.
Look here, standard deviation. And that's it, eh? And then they ask you to comment. Okay, that's good. So we actually need three tables here, Brogan. So I'm going to...
I printed one.
Yeah, I'm going to get them from here. Okay, I'm just going to copy this. Actually, let me just copy it through. Oh, what did I press there now? Okay, let's do that again. Okay, move. Let's create a copy. Alright, and then let's... Okay, that's in the right file. Let's close that. Okay, let's delete this. This is looking at copper. Let's delete that. Okay, let's rename this. Okay, so fountain. We need more. Okay, let's. I just want to get rid of all the other stuff that you don't need. I'm just using a file that had other stuff. Okay, and let's get rid of all that stuff. Okay, so that's fountain. Let's copy that. Okay, what is the other one? Copper, hey?
Copper.
And what is the other one?
And Villa suit.
Villa, okay. Did you do these ahead of time? I'm just wondering.
So
Did you do the one?
No, I
oh.
didn't. I printed it out. I was gonna.
Okay,
do
you were
this
gonna do it.
weekend.
Okay, so yeah. So don't stress.
This was the part that I didn't.
Yeah. This you can do later, and you can check it with this. Okay, so let's just go to fountain first. Okay, let's put in the possible return. Let's go back to the question. Where's fountain? There's fountain. Okay, the probabilities stay the same. 25, 60, 15. Okay, that stays the same. That won't change. Copy that. For fountain, probability, that stays the same.
Yeah.
Okay, the possible returns will change. For fountain, you had 2, 10, and 16. I think I had that here. There, 2, 10, and 16. Copy that. And that goes here. Okay, obviously all of this gets done automatically.
Yeah.
I've just, everything is correct here. Let's just double check. That's fine. Expected return is fine. Deviation, let's just check the formulas. That minus that, yes. Then squared, yes. Then squared deviation, yes. Okay, all of it's right. So standard deviation, they want this. Okay, that would be the answer for fountain. Okay, just jot that down and see if you can get to the same answer. Fountain, standard deviation is, obviously you timed it by 100, right?
Yeah.
To get a percentage. I'll do it, times 100, gives you that as a percentage. Okay, so that would be the answer for fountain. Is that okay?
Yes.
Save that. I can't save it. Oh, I think it did save it. Let me just save it again. I don't want to lose all this. Save another copy of it just yet. Okay, I think there's some macros in it somewhere. Okay, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so that's the standard deviation of fountain. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do copper. Okay, so with copper, probability stays the same, so we can copy that.
Copper was 32, 12, and negative 11.
Yeah, copper we have there, 32, 12, negative 11. That's going to go to copper's returns there, and then it updates. Okay, so then there's the answer for copper. Okay, just jot it down so then you can, let me just put it there. Sorry, it's a bit small. I'll make it bigger. Okay. Yeah, so that's the answer for copper. Yeah, if you struggle and you can't get the right answer, then just I'll send this to you afterwards, and then you can have a look at it and just check your answers, and see where you made a mistake. But you should get the exact same answer.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the nice thing with Excel. I can just do it like this. It's quicker. Okay, but so when you have some time, try to just complete those tables. You'll need 3 of them though.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Because you've got fountain, copper, and villa.
I'm going to.
But it's good practice. Yeah.
Copy it upstairs on my printer.
Okay. Yeah, but it's good practice. Just to make sure that you're okay with the formats. Okay, so let's see villa, 60, 20,
and negative 35.
Negative
35.
35, like that. Okay, so then we've got that one. There's the answer for that one. Let me just copy this writing here. Just paste that there. There we go.
So it's negative.
Okay, and then that's what you want to see for villa. Probably, yeah. Okay, make sense?
Yeah.
Alright, good. Okay, let's go back to the question paper. So now we've covered that question. You just need to do tables for that.
Now we need to do the coefficient, which you've already calculated.
Calculate the coefficient of variation for each you've already calculated. So all of this you've also got right. Indicate which investment is the best investment and provide justification for your choice. Okay, so we'll discuss that now. But let's just write the answers down. So fountain. Here's fountain. So just jot that down. There's the answer. 0.5048. Okay. Jot down coppers. That's copper's answer.
So it's
0.9817. Okay, this you all get from the table.
Yeah.
And then villa, there's the answer for villa. 1.34.
Okay. Then the best one obviously is going to be villa.
No. Remember, we're looking at the return versus the risk. Okay, so you need to consider how many marks was that out of? They don't say. 3.5, I think.
Is it 3.5?
I think so. I don't think they show commas.
So it's 1, 2, 3, and this is half a mark.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So it's because it's out of half. You could probably just give one answer question.
Yeah.
But to answer it correctly, okay, for the last part, okay, which is the best investment or best project? Okay, you'd have to compare them. So let's just write this down. Fountain, copper, and villa. Okay, delete. Okay, correlation,
coefficient.
Correlation,
yeah.
Coefficient of correlation.
Coefficient of variation.
Of variation,
Yeah.
sorry. CV. Just put that in. Okay, what is the formula for CV? Standard deviation divided by expected return, I think. Let me just check it. It's here. Where is it? Where's the formula? There. Coefficient, yeah, standard deviation divided by expected was right. Okay, so let's just write that down. It's standard deviation divided by expected return. Okay, so if you look at this, it's actually risk divided by reward. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so the risk is the standard deviation. The reward is the return. So obviously you want the reward to be bigger than the return. The reward to be bigger than the risk, yes. So you want the denominator to be bigger. So the smaller the CV, the better. That's what you're actually looking for.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just need to interpret that correctly. Right, so which one has the smallest CV? Let's check. Fountain CV. Fountain CV was that. That was Fountain CV. Okay, Copper CV was that. Villa CV was that. Okay, so the best one?
Is
Fountain, yes. Okay, so Fountain has the lowest CV, coefficient of variation. Make sense?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, we're almost there. How long is the last one? Oh, not too bad. It's just that whole dividend story. Okay, they want you to show all workings. This is just a timeline. And then that covers that bit. Okay, so we need to read all of this and we need to draw a picture. Okay, question 2. I just want to put a heading here. Question 1. Brackets, workings here, and see separate sheets. Okay. Oops, that didn't work so well. Let's just copy it. Let's move it up. Okay. Right. Let's save. Okay. So the last one. T0, T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6, T7.
Oh, it's the same thing that we basically did.
Correct, except it's a written question,
yeah.
So you need to show all of this. Okay, everything that I'm showing here is what I would write in the exam. Okay, so J has not paid a dividend during the last 12 years. However, at the end of this year, the company plans to pay a dividend of 3 rand. So at the end of this year would be start of next year. So 3 rand.
And then 4.
And then 4.
The following year 2.
The following dividend, the following year, year 2. Starting in 3 years, the dividend will begin to grow by 10% for 2 years. Yeah, so no, starting in 3 years. So in 3 years, so it's 0, so it's there.
I would have, now the way they typed it, I would have thought it's year 6. And
no, starting in 3 years, because where are we currently? At the end of this year.
Okay.
So starting in 3 years.
Okay.
So starting in 3 years from when?
Now.
From now. Okay, from now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so from now, the dividend is going to grow at 10%. So plus 10% here. And it's going to grow for how many? 2 years. So plus 10% there, plus 10% there. And thereafter, it's expected to grow by... Ooh, 14. I can't see that.
Grow by 12?
12% for the next 2 years. Okay, so 12% in the next 2.
And then, yeah.
In year 7 and beyond, so in year 7, see, we're in the right place. In year 7, the dividend will grow by 40% each year as long as the company's in operation.
So plus 14.
Then plus 14 forever. Okay, so there's the first dividend that grows constantly, which is Gordon growth.
Yeah.
Okay, so in that scenario there, we need to show an arrow for the constant growth. Okay, let's just work out the dividends. Right, so it's 10%.
So it's 4 plus
4 times 1, 0,110. That adds 10% to it.
Okay.
Okay, it doesn't matter as long as you add 10%. Okay, and then I would do the same thing here. No, this times 1.10. Okay, there's another 10%.
Yeah.
Then that dividend is growing by 12%. So this times 1.12. Okay, then this times 1.12. Okay, so there's the dividends.
Yeah.
Right, you should show those workings. So maybe just to show the workings, 4 times 1. 4 times bracket. Let's just show it this way. 1 plus 0.10. That might make more sense. Okay. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you would have the same thing for this one, but 4.4.
4.84.
Yeah, and then you'd have the same thing for this one, but 4.84. And it would be times 12%. Okay, and then for this one, it'll be 5 points. And this is what I would be showing them. 5.4208. Don't round off. Only round off answers. Okay, and then you get that answer. Okay, and then the last one is 14%. So it would have been 6.0713 times bracket 1 plus 0.14 close bracket. Okay, but I'm just going to show that here. This times 1.14 gives you that answer. Okay, now I've got all the dividends.
Yeah.
Okay, Gordon growth applies to this. So we need to show it. So this would be your inverted commas, your T1, and this will be your inverted commas, your T0 for the Gordon growth.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's show that here. PV equals div1 divided by brackets R minus G, close brackets. Okay, so PV equals the dividend that's going to grow 692,128 divided by open brackets. What is my rate here?
Isn't it 6.92?
20%. Did I make a mess of that amount?
Yeah.
6 comma, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a missing comma.
Yeah.
6 comma 92
128, yeah.
128, okay. The rate here is 20%. Okay, so divide by 0.20 less growth of 40%, close brackets. Okay, that you type into your calculator and you get an answer. P is that. Okay, so now this is sitting at what point in time?
Well, T7, but the
It's sitting at T6
Okay.
because it's PV0. Okay, because it's times 7 is the div1. See, that's the div1, that's the PV. Okay, so then we just need to use our cash flow button. Cash flow function. Okay, year 0, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6.
and year 7.
No, year 7,
Okay.
because the year 7 is the end. Okay, so that's 0. Okay, so cash flow, there's year 1, there's year 2, there's year 3, there's year 4, there's year 5. Year 6 is this, plus that.
Okay.
Okay, NB, 6.0713 plus 115.355, close brackets. Okay, that you type into your calculator. I is 20%, solve for NPV. Can you do that quick?
Sure.
And that's the end. Make sure you do the right things.
So that 0, then it's 3, then it's 4, then it's 4.4, then it's 4.84, then it's 5.4208, then it is
121
121
point
point
4259
59
63.
63.
Enter.
Oh, okay.
Okay, escape. Solve. What do you get?
53.0019.
53.0019. That's fine. Okay, that you can round off. So then
Yeah.
I would round off 53 Rand per share. Final answer. Okay, that you can round off. Don't round off your workings, round
Yeah.
off your answer.
Okay, this was actually straightforward.
Yes. Okay,
And
so
this
you,
is for 15 marks.
yes, so it's a lot. But
Yeah.
remember, all of these little bits here, you need to
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. No.
Okay, you need to show these workings, you need to show these workings, you need to show these workings, you need to show these workings. Okay, and then I'm just using, so I would have said here, using the cash flow function, and then show the workings there. Brackets to discount, irregular cash flow.
And let's
That.
say you make this stuff up, will they still give you a marks for working?
They should give you working marks if it's written question.
Yeah.
Definitely, they have
Okay.
to. So if you make a mistake somewhere, they should still award marks for some of the workings. But just show everything possible.
well-
Everything they say in the question, write it down.
Yeah, I know. Well, I think I'll probably focus on the written questions first,
Yeah.
get that done properly, and then,
And then
go
spend
to
the rest of your time on your
multiple choice.
choice. Because you see, the multiple choice took a long time,
It did.
but it was easy.
Yeah.
So now, do you want to bank all those marks and then do this? But remember, this counts 30, eh? So
Yeah.
this didn't take that long.
It didn't.
So maybe it
I'd
is a
rather
good idea.
spend 30, 40 minutes
Yes.
because I don't think it'll take longer than that.
Yes.
And then bank the extra 20 minutes for the
Correct.
multiple choice. So I have
That's
an
good.
hour and
That's
20
good
minutes.
exam technique. Just find something that works. Maybe try that when you do the other past papers.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Okay, so for next week we need to do October, November 2017.
Perfect.
Okay, because we haven't looked at that one yet.
Yeah, I'll do that one.
Okay, great.